Great. So this is our practitioner skills that we're recording now. We are Cert for Youth Work, our Tuesday night class, and we've got some of our learners who are going to be doing their role play in real time. And some of us are going to just go off camera and give that space over. So I need to have the part 2, Chelsea's going to do that. I don't need ID, our usual things with role plays. We don't need any of that. You could blur your background. Chelsea's already done that. Just make sure that your background is appropriate for the presentation. And all your role plays, it says a simulated workplace environment as well. So where you've got your audio icon on the bottom and right beside it is video, you'll have a selection there where it'll say adjust background and effects if that's what your device says. Just put a blurry background if you want, or something that looks like I am sitting in a professional setting in one of the rooms at First Access. If it's part 2, it'll be kind of like a blurred background or a boardroom. And if it's part 1, it'll be kind of like a meeting room sitting around a table with around minimum of 3 stakeholders. So stay on camera if you're going to be asking the person presenting questions. Go off camera if you're not going to be asking questions. So think of a question when that person does their presentation as well. And I only need one person on camera for a part 2. So I'll select anyone. If you're presenting your part 2 and so is someone else, it's good to swap around and be that for somebody else. That would be amazing if you could. Okay, so Chelsea, we are going over to you, part 2. So who's going to be Chelsea's supervisor where she can do her pitch?
I'm happy to.
Brilliant. Okay, so just
Thank
Chelsea
you.
and Nicola on camera. Thanks, everyone. Just go off camera and let's stay with us.
So I'm going to share my screen, Vicky.
Yes, I better make you host. I'm giving you all the power,
I think
Chelsea.
it's letting me already. Can you see
Oh,
it?
yes, I love that. Fabulous. So,
Okay, I'll just go.
yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, thank you for meeting with me again. I've just got a bit more in-depth presentation on my Giving Hope project that we discussed last week. So yeah, Giving Hope, it's help and outreach to personal engagement. But before we get started, I just want to acknowledge the original custodians of our land. So we gratefully acknowledge traditional owners and the custodianship of the lands on which this project originated. This country known as Australia, where Aboriginal people have lived and practiced their culture for many thousands of years. We pay our respects to their ancestors and their descendants who continue cultural and spiritual connections to country. We recognise their valuable contributions to Australian and global society. So a bit of a backstory of Hope. What made this so important? So as somebody who comes from a background of out-of-home care and working in the front line, experiencing firsthand some of the effects that alcohol and other drug addiction has on the young people within our community made me realise the need for ongoing supports, especially for the young people who are in out-of-home care. Through trauma and life disruptions, it is understandable that in the result, the young people turn to substances for an escape of some sort. I've personally experienced many years in addiction in my younger years, so I hold this project very close to me, and as I know the damage it can bring. A bit of a statement, mission and vision for the project is creating a service that provides out-of-hours support for young people in out-of-home care. If you're struggling with coming down or the effects and the mental effects that this can have on them. Provide mental health first aid through TCI, which is therapeutically trained supports when life becomes a battle without drugs. Provide education, awareness around drugs and how to receive supports through other stakeholders. So, a bit of information about the drug use in out-of-home care. Young people who find themselves in out-of-home care for many reasons, sadly through past traumas and family disruptions. When young people come into out-of-home care, residential housing as an example, they're often left with feeling vulnerable, scared, unsure, and hurt. All these feelings make a path of destruction, a sense of belonging, or a mental ease, even for a little bit. Drugs are not permitted on site in residential housing for the safety and well-being for all involved, but this does not stop the young people from coming back to placement substance affected. And so sadly, that happens, but our carers are the very important frontline workers that are the ones who see the reality of all this alcohol and drug use within the home. Between trying to manage a house, keeping this YP safe, ensuring their own safety is a big job. When a young person comes home substance affected, it decreases not only the safety of the whole house, but also decreases the ability to ensure carers can provide adequate support and provide proper duty of care throughout their shift. To be able to have a service that can provide one-on-one support through a crisis can help benefit a safe environment for all involved. It's a bit more about the services that Hope will be providing is trauma-informed care, TCI is therapeutic care intervention, and this is training and a lot of it's very in-depth, supporting someone through a crisis safely. Safety is obviously our biggest concern for all involved. In-person and over-the-phone supports, provide education in the AED use, the effects short-term and long-term, where and how to seek help, including referrals to services, safe environment for young people and carers, and the ability to work collaboratively with stakeholders for best care. Core principles for Hope and how we'll operate throughout. We'll always work in a trauma-informed care approach. All of our staff will be trained in supporting young people through a trauma-informed care approach. We understand the complex needs of who we will be providing supports to and what it means to ensure the safety when working with these young people. All staff will be trained through a therapeutic care intervention model. This is specific to the care through a crisis and how to best respond to an outburst safely. We will always engage with stakeholders to ensure the best possible care, as we know it takes a village to raise and support these young people. Risk assessments on arrival and from over the phone information. So information also be gathered from, depending on who calls. It could be the young person itself or carers that are needing more support. We always work within clear outlined policies and procedures. So privacy and confidentially, conducting sales on premises, harm reduction, and informed and trained staff always up to date. And all of our staff will have work with children, police checks, NDIS checks. They'll all be mandatory to ensure the safety of these young people and who we are around. Some of the benefits the Hope will provide: social will be improved mental health, leading healthier social skills, relationship skills. A big thing for out-of-home care is reunification with families where and if possible. So it will definitely help young people in doing that. Aid in crime reduction, develop more awareness and understanding of addiction and the effects it has mentally, physically, and socially. Some economic benefits: lower healthcare costs and raise availability by using in-home services rather than going into public services. Reduce incarceration costs and court justice system costs. So a lot of our young people end up throughout the justice system. For many reasons. But it also increased job opportunities. Environmental benefits: be a safer community for everyone, not only the public, but the YP and carers. Just because they're in out-of-home care doesn't mean they're not out in the public. They've still got free range pretty much. Community can start to become more free of things like graffiti, drug use, paraphernalia, and wreckage from crime. This program is designed to help assist young people to be safe when they find themselves in a crisis of struggling with AED use and the effects it has on them. The after effect of taking substances and feeling like young people have no one to turn to when it's needed is a hard place to be in. To be supported and heard through this time is crucial in a non-judgmental environment. Offering referrals to specialists and aiding in mental health first aid. And some of the grants available to us and we will be using is the under 25 Go funding. So this funding covers up to 100% of eligible expenditures. So pretty much get the whole thing up and running. So 500,000 to 2 million. Engage 2025 to 27 grants is from 60 to 180,000. MRFF from the Stream 3 Topic B. So this is more around the recovery of youth and the drugs and all of that. More funding can be accumulated through community events and fundraising, participation contributions like first access, things like that. Where the funding will be used. So a lot of it obviously goes to the admin and the support workers, outreach managers. There'll be a lot of human resources involved in getting this up and going, ongoing service. Physical resources, we're going to need fleet cars, office space, office and IT supplies, including staff phones and wanting duress bells and alerts. Obviously, we're going into a dangerous scenario at times and making sure not only who we're looking after is safe, but us as workers. Program startup, so staff training, background checks, estimated to be like 950 per staff member. Policy and procedure writing, and then there's our liability and insurance, advertisement, and obviously set aside money for unexpected costs that will appear. So how to contact Hope. I'm wanting to put like signs up within homes of stakeholders that are willing to participate and join, and just have that, you know, familiarity there, and that service is there to be provided. Also, we'll have our website you can jump to for information. So young people and carers can reach out and call us on 1800 HOPE. An intake and assessment form will be done either in person, or we can gather as much information over the phone, especially if it is that over the phone support they're wanting, obviously, to do it over the phone. This is an example of just a brief intake and assessment form. So primary concerns, obviously what's happening for them right now. Specific service requested. So obviously either the one-on-one support or like the over the phone support. And when we delve more into what's happening, we can start looking at other services they'd like to be referred to. Additional notes, what substances they're using, what medications, mental health, all of that. And consent, obviously, to share when we need to, and just obviously they're reminding them that we do need to breach that if it is needed, and the reasons are there. So to wrap it up, I'd like to say together we can make a difference. Together we can foster an inclusive and trauma-informed environment to help support such a vulnerable part of our community. Through transparency and collaboration, let's endeavour on a journey to bring hope to those who need it. Got some future plans for a local drop-in centre with volunteers who would like to make a difference and work effectively to support young people in out-of-home care. Added extra specialists will be available at these centres to attend to the needs during the day with education and safety around drugs and how to use it. Also, some future plans with fundraising events will also be run in the future to encourage stakeholders to participate in making awareness around their services and how we can all work together collaboratively to support our young people in need.
Amazing. Thanks, Chelsea.
Thank you.
Really good.
That's a lot of information, but any feedback is good feedback.
I love it. You're very passionate about it. You can tell from the slides, like lots of research and lived experience too. So you understand this field, and you can tell from the information that you provided. So really lovely. Yeah, great. And it's actually a service that I feel you could up and run straight away. Like it's really, really good. Yeah, fantastic. Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Great. Could I ask, Chelsea, while you were going through all of this, what was the unexpected learning for you? You came in with an idea, but what was something that just sort of popped up for you while you were going through all of this?
How one thought can actually become something. Something that's so needed, and it will be so helpful. And I know for me, I've been doing a lot of soul searching and finding and all of that stuff, and I kind of really grasped to me this idea and project, and I actually would love to take it further. So, yeah.
Definitely. There's a lot of work gone into it.
Yeah.
You can tell. So thanks, Nicola. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
Nicola, you've got $5,000. Are you going to give it to Chelsea?
I certainly am. Yeah, worth every penny of it, definitely. Yeah, well done. Really good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fabulous. That's great. Thanks. I'll email me and I'll send you your evidence sheet, and I'll also send you a self-reflection to just fill that in the bottom of it, and then upload that as well, Chelsea.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is there any feedback that I need to add? Does anyone think? Any other points?
Would anyone like to just ask Chelsea any questions about that might have popped up for you?
I have one question, if you don't mind. And I thought about it because it's come up sort of in my own presentation, but I was just wondering what types of support services you have in the event of a crisis, like in crisis intervention case.
Yeah, so the training therapeutic crisis intervention is made around supporting someone through a crisis. So whether it's just talking, sitting, going for a walk, whatever support that person needs in the moment, and doing that safely. And unless you've done the module, it's hard to explain, but it's just a safe way to deal with an outburst or a crisis, and being that mental first aid for someone.
So that's going to be like an on-call service type thing. So when they have that, is it a 24/7 access?
So it's gonna be after hours at the start, because there is a lot of services during the day, and I find that after hours is when it's needed the most, especially when someone's come home from a bender at 3 a.m. Yeah, we'll start from there, and then it will branch out more.
Okay. These questions are just coming off of the last thing you were saying. So will that include like overnight stays or beds?
There's not a center. It'll be like, I'll come to you or over the phone. And then future plans for that drop-in center during the day for the kids that do want to come, get more information, talk to someone other than the people that they're living with. Yeah, just a safe space to be in.
Okay. Yeah. That's all.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Saying, love it, Chelsea. Amazing presentation.
Thank you, guys.
Fabulous. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Chelsea. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so number 2 is going to be Nicola, and Nicola's going to do part 2. So are you comfortable, Nicola, to keep going? And who would like to be Nicola's supervisor?
I can, unless someone else wants to do it. Participate.
I think that'd be great.
Well, thanks, Chelsea. Okay. How do I share my screen with you?
You just got to share arrow along the bottom.
Okay, 1 second. Oh.
If you've got the document open, it should.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Give that a go. Perfect. You're on the way.
Is that working? Oh,
yeah,
perfect.
Almost. Yeah. Terrific.
Perfect. Excellent. Shall I start? Fabulous. So this is my working within a community development framework, CHCCDE019. Oh, how do I? Sorry. Oh, perfect. Right. Welcome to Country. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which we meet today and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islands people here today. Just a quick intro. Hi, my name is Nicola Ellis. I've chosen the Feel Good Factor, Girls Disability Group. So I've chosen the community group of health and wellbeing for girls with disabilities in Australia. This group faces both health and wellbeing challenges, including poorer health outcomes, higher rates of mental distress, and increased risks of social and economical disadvantage compared to their peers without disability. Health and wellbeing looks very different for everyone. How do you look after your health and wellbeing, Chelsea?
I try to eat healthy. I try to eat healthy. I do Pilates. Probably should do more mindful journaling. But yeah.
Lovely. And that's different for everyone. So it's capturing, you know, different things that are going to interest different people with different personalities. So the Feel Good Factor is about connections, being active, taking notice, keep learning and giving. We acknowledge the wider diversity of our community, including the many people in Australia who live with this disability. So in 2018, there were 4.4 million Australians living with a disability. That's 17.7% of the population. That's 1 in 5 people. So actually very high. The reality of friendship for people with learning disabilities or with autism. Oh, sorry, hang on, my screen. How do I move you? Sorry, I just want to move you. Part of my...
Oh, Mum's doing it.
I was like... in 2021, the government released a paper called Valuing People. The paper outlined a strategy to support people with profound and multiple learning difficulties and or with autism. It identified 4 key principles, which consisted of rights, independent, choice and inclusion. The emphasis around the paper was to ensure people with a learning disability or with autism have the same rights as the general public. However, the reality that creating a social life and being a citizen in the community continues to be difficult for adults and children with learning disabilities or with autism. According to MenCap, a total of 34% of adults with learning disabilities have no more than yearly contact with their friends. And that's a big shock. When I read some of this, it upsets me, to be honest. This is due to the personal and social challenges that they might encounter throughout their lives, which consists of social isolation, fewer opportunities to meet new and existing friends. Friends may live far away, not receiving the guidance they need to support them in becoming a part of their community and understanding social cues, limiting accessibility to transport, information and toilets. So what we can do, we connect with others and who have similar experiences. It can provide a sense of belonging, community and purpose. Other people can also be a source of knowledge and support. We can do this by joining disability organisation or finding a support group. And this is where the Feel Good Factor comes in, health and wellbeing for girls with a disability. So all about the Feel Good Factor, the health and wellbeing for girls with a disability. When will it happen? It will happen once a week on a Thursday from 5 till 8:30 in the evening. It'll be term time only. This service is going to be free of charge and it's going to start in July 2025. Where? In Christie Downs Community Centre, that's in the southern suburbs of Adelaide in South Australia. Why? I believe that people should have inclusion, social and emotional, friendships, connection, and health and wellbeing. How do we know young people will apply to gain access to the Feel Good Factor? Young girls with a disability can apply to join the group. The application process is based on the individual needs of the young person. Each young person is allowed to access a space with a mentor. These mentors are paid for by the girl's own individual NDIS plans. The space is then tailored to meet the needs of our young people. So each week during the term on a Thursday, the group engage in a different fun activity. Favourites include movies, bowling, arcades, musicals, shows, local events, attraction, and much more. So each young person will have their own individual file detailing their goals, health and risk management plan, and de-escalation plan. The ways to improve health and well-being: connect, be active, take notice, keep learning and giving. So it's going to be a safe environment for young girls aged 13 to 18 years to socialise, connect with other women who have similar disabilities to themselves. We're going to do life skill building, so social emotional development. It's a way to connect, building friendships, connections with the community, making connections with other young females and building those friendships, and staying active. So skill building, health and hygiene, exercise, cooking, community access, and building resilience. Just a few things that pop into my head when I think about the feel good factor: connect, friends, keep learning, take notice, be active, communicate, social and emotional, and having fun. So you might be asking how the feel good factor enhances the skills of participants. To explicitly teach and concept and skills related to friendship, communication, and relationship building. The programme assists in enhancing young girls to access the community in a safe and guided way. These skills could be cooking, cleaning, taking care of themselves, and this will enhance their life skill. Learning new skills will boost self-confidence and self-esteem. Some of those skills will be exercising, walking, skateboarding, bike riding, and will enhance their health and well-being. And another life skill will be friendships and connections. What we do: self-care. We can support young people with grocery shopping, with assistance. Shopping for their groceries allows individuals to maintain their independence by selecting their own food while receiving help with navigating the store, carrying the bags, or making healthy choices. The education, providing educational resources and educational programs, workshops and resources to enhance skills, knowledge and overall well-being. Accessing the community and volunteering opportunities, so community activities, volunteer opportunities, and decision-making processes. Cooking. We'll be cooking, sharing food, and socialising while we eat. Housing and support, knowing what opportunities are available. So the arts and creativity. Sorry, I just need to move that. Supporting individuals and pursuing artistic or creative interests, such as painting, music, or theatre, fostering self-expression and creativity. Participation in art-related events or exhibitions can boost self-esteem, encourage social connections, and provide a sense of accomplishment. Attending appointments. Sometimes this can be very daunting. So assisting individuals in attending medical, therapy, or other important appointments. This is important to receive necessary healthcare and services. So our mission and our vision. The mission is supporting girls' personal development, self-esteem, confidence, friendships, and a sense of belonging for girls in SA. The vision. The Feel Good Factor project is to provide guidance and information to teen girls that will help them to become healthier members of our society, encourage them to discover their talents and pursue their goals. And the goal: to build friendships, community engagement, personal growth, self-esteem, resilience, and positive emotions. We've got some of our SMART goals here, which I actually went through in our last presentation, so I'll just briefly go over that. It was just more about engagement, and I would set my goals so they are measurable. Some of the goals are things about like a 20% increase in their social interactions and things like that. The community needs. Often girls with disabilities face unique challenges. By addressing these needs and creating a girls' disability group can promote their inclusion and foster a supportive environment. This can be achieved through targeted support, accessible programs, and advocacy for their rights and well-being. So the social, environment, and economic benefits of the programme. Social benefits. The Feel Good Factor programme benefit girls socially by giving them a safe place to hang out and develop their social and emotional skills. This inclusion will enable these young girls to build social connections while offering social opportunities leading to positive interactions with the community. The environment benefits. The Feel Good Factor program was also offer environmental benefits by empowering girls through education and support, leading to positive impacts on individuals, communities, and the broader environment. The program can encourage the adoption of sustainable practices that reduce the environment impact of businesses and communities. Economic benefits. These benefits include increased economic opportunities, improved health outcomes, and greater resilience in the face of environmental and economical challenges. Girls' education strengthens economies and reduces inequality. It contributes to more stable, resilient societies that give individuals the opportunity to fulfill their potential. The funding. Basically, this will be using on donations. The use of donations will buy resources, arts and craft, groceries, pantry supplies for cooking, etc., and fresh food to be purchased weekly. Sponsorships. The use of sponsorships and logos from local companies to promote their businesses, stickers and flyers. Grants. We use local grants to buy resources for the location, coffee machines, a garden setup, and then resources like skateboarding, bike and equipment for the centre. The Youth Action Plan Life Skills Grant, an application that we'll put together and that you can hopefully get 250,000 in grants to help young people build essential life skills and transition to adulthood. Expenditure. Once a week on a Thursday, 5 till 8:30, term time only. So approximately 10 to 20 people to start with, depending on the numbers. And the staffing, 2 youth workers for 3.5 hours, $165. So the salary will be $330. The mentors of the young girls will be paid for by their own individual NDIS plan. The rent for Christie's Down Community Centre will be $150 per session. And this venue includes the kitchen access, games room, activity room, tennis courts, basketball courts and skate parks. The resources and supplies, art supplies, resources for activities, photocopying and printing, $200 per session. And then the weekly groceries, $300 per session. The community consultation scope. So there'll be key stakeholders, communication methods, online platforms, social media, the target audience, people with lived experiences, the local government, support with funding, sponsors, grants and policy changes, surveys and interviews, gathering information and input from youths, engagement methods. This will include workshops, surveys, online forums and public meetings. The community, the insight of services available and funding, and then exploring the ideas and host discussions. These are my references throughout the PowerPoint. If you would like a copy of the slides, please let me know by sending an email to me and I can send those out to you. And thank you for listening. Everyone is invited to stay afterwards for nibbles and cake. We'll just pretend. Networking and exploring our space. But thank you for listening.
That was very, very in-depth. I love it.
Okay.
I wasn't ignoring you. I just jotted down
No, all good.
because my brain, yeah. So you mentioned a mentor. Does it have to be one of your mentors or can they bring an NDIS worker?
So there'll be 2 youth workers there and then they can bring their mentor or their support worker. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I love the girl supporting girl community. Very powerful. You take each different need and you delve right into like the needs and the research behind it and all of that. I mean, like that. The friendships can be really hard to make, so bringing like-minded girls together. Love
Fabulous.
that. Love that. Room for a lot of growth and learning life skills. Yeah, that's just yeah, that's priceless, really, learning all of that. Yeah. I love that. Wide range of supports, and you said that there was set hours for the classes to run, but you also said there was like a supports for appointments and other things. So what hours would they run in?
So we could actually support them and let them know what services are out there, but also the 2 youth mentors can actually support them out of those
Out of
hours of
hours,
that
yeah.
service. Yeah. And it's just for that
Awesome.
extra support, really. And so we can give our knowledge to those mentors about other
Yep.
services. So if we're needed, we would go out with the
Yeah.
individual young people too.
Yeah. Okay, you've covered a lot. That was awesome. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank
You will
you.
get my $5,000. Love
Enjoy
that.
my cake.
Thank you. Well done.
That's gold. I have a question for you,
Yes.
Nicola. While you were putting this together, can I ask you what it was that motivated you to pick this particular topic?
Yeah, I'm really, I actually work in a special class in a high school. So I'm really passionate about disability. My own son has a disability too. But I know that the young people that I work with really struggle with those social skills. So this is something that I feel there's a real gap for. And I know that there's services out there in SA, but I believe the more there could be more. There
Yeah.
certainly can be more that we can be doing. You know, these young people are going to be young adults soon, leaving school, and we want to equip them with all the skills that they can achieve and go on to really successful, happy lives. I want their well-being to be as full as possible. So, yeah, just passionate about it.
Yeah, I can tell, and that's incredible. And 2 things come to mind. One is that it's going to be hard enough for young people with differing abilities to find their place where they fit in. The other is that your presentation to me was really valuable for people who do work with young people to create neuro-affirming language, to raise an awareness and maybe adjust the language that they use, that inclusive approach, if they are just, not because they aren't, but just to raise awareness. So it's just that pause and then, and have I, and maybe just improve their approach to see them a little more in their busy days, their already busy days. So so I really liked your presentation. I thought it
Thank you.
two areas to go to: one, the delivery of the program, and 2, to raise awareness around neuro-affirming spaces. And as an ND person who definitely did not have any of those things when I was growing up, it's a real challenge, and you need to have good people around you who see you beyond everything else until you learn to mask, and then to give yourself permission to drop that, and then just say, listen, take me as I am, and I'm fully unmedicated as well. I'm just so I think yeah, like for me, hearing it, I found that profoundly important work.
Yeah, thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Nicola. I really enjoyed that. Any questions for Nicola? Any comments? If there's no questions, if Nicola kind of was very thorough.
I had no questions, but honestly, I loved the way you spoke about it. I loved the way the tone of voice and the way you laid out that presentation. Really, it was very clear.
Thank you.
And it was very like passionate, and you knew what you were talking about. You're very confident in the way you were speaking, and I really liked it.
No, lovely. Thank you. That means a lot.
No, that's right.
My heart's pounding, but that's okay.
I feel, yes.
I feel like it's a good pound though. You know, sometimes when you are compassionate about something, it's okay to feel like that, because actually
it is,
I want to express that to you guys so you know how passionate I am.
100%. And it gives you a sense of purpose as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like
I
feel like these community things, I would love to set this up. You know, when I heard Chelsea's, I'd love her to set it up. I'm like, yes. You know, you can feel the passion from someone, which I think means something.
Yes, there's excitement there, and I like it.
Yeah, thank you.
That's okay.
So Chelsea, will you give Nicola $5,000?
Yes.
For her project?
Thank you.
I do have to run though. My daughter's just gone home.
Please go. Do everything you need to. Well done, Nicola. Your presentation was amazing.
Yeah, well done.
Lots of
And to
praise
you. Thank you.
for you guys. Please, well deserved, both of you. So
Thank you.
Bye.
I
go.
might hop off too, Vicky, if that's okay.
Yes.
My son's due back any second, so I need to get dinner right. But thank you very much.
Well done. Thank you, both of you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have Georgia next, and Georgia's going to need 3 people at least. So we've got
Yes.
Lila here. Can I have some other learners, please, come on screen and be stakeholders? Zainab is going to be a stakeholder. I need probably 2 others. Katie, yeah, no, that's not a problem, Katie. Fabulous. You guys all work through that. So terrific. We have 3 stakeholders. So stakeholders, you need to put the hat on whatever you think would be a person to come to the table with Georgia. Georgia, do you have in mind what you would like your stakeholders to be representing?
What do you mean? Sorry, what was that?
Well, you're pitching your idea. You're in the collaborative stage in part 1.
Yes.
So you need their input. It's not yet presentation ready, but
No.
at this point, you've got your idea. You're going to talk to them about it. And then what have I missed? What else might be needed? Other people have got different clients and they might be willing to be part of helping you make it all work. Who did you identify you would need to have to support you with this?
I honestly just wanted to get some ideas and some feedback on what my program is about, what people would think is like good about it, and what I could probably change, and probably get questions as well about like some of the programs on how I could do things a little bit better, and probably definitely mainly get some feedback and get an idea on what they need in order so what I can develop that into my program.
Perfect, because that is exactly the essence of part 1. So
yes. Yeah.
If that's where you're headed with this, you're totally on track with it, Georgia. So that's amazing. And so you guys that are in this space as stakeholders, just go with the flow. Like think about your own project and the perspective that you're coming from, your lens over that, and then just ask those questions of Georgia when you're in that space. So we've got 2 stakeholders on camera, but that doesn't mean Lila won't be back. But otherwise, we can take more from Mel. Would we have time to do mine? Of course, Mel, we do. I have someone coming in after 7:30, but I'm sure we can get that in. And Mel, sorry, which part? Part 1 or 2?
Part 2.
I already know you've done it. No, part 2.
Part 2?
Yeah, sorry, you're going for the money. So yes, thank you so much, Mel. I knew that.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, great. Well, I'm going to hand it over to you, Georgia. The floor is yours.
Okay, amazing. I'm a bit nervous, so bear with me. But my name is Georgia, and my program is designed about the increases recently around family domestic violence. It's a service that I want to develop into community centres, and it's called We Can Hear You, because I feel like there's a lot of things behind closed doors and people don't talk about it. And so it's a program that is it's in-person program. So there's a lot of, I feel like, hotlines and places that you can call, but I feel like people, they're too scared to call people. So I want to develop like a service and a program that people can go to that in person. So they can learn about things, they can get insight about things, you do activities about relationship building and what they can do at home and how to manage conflicts in the family home. It's a place where a safe space held in the community where people can come together and talk about the things that they're currently going through and meet people that are also going through the same thing to also get support. That's my idea, but some of my goals would be to maximize supports available in the community to ensure safety. Because like I said before, it's still a topic that's behind closed doors, and I want to maximize places and support so people can go to. I want to reduce the fear that's built up in family homes and relationship homes, because domestic family violence isn't just about something that's in a family, it's also within relationships. I want to promote people to talk about it. Like I said, to reduce the closed door image. And I want to encourage people to talk about it. I want to minimize family domestic violence that proceeds to lead to homelessness and drugs use. Another thing that I researched about was like people that and young people that suffer from family domestic violence actually are more likely to experience homelessness and the abuse of drugs and alcohol. And another goal for me would be to reduce, by doing all of this, I hope to reduce stress and anxiety from individuals. My priority is for the community is having like a go-to service. So that's what it is. It's a go-to service where somebody can go somewhere to get support. Because I feel like people don't want to call a helpline because they're nervous or scared that like, you know, the abuser is going to hear or the abuser is going to find out. Some strategies would be it's facilitating a program where people can come to an in-person support. They can talk about their problems, talk about the issues, and then the person, like the mentor that's doing it, basically the coordinator that runs the program, is also going to give techniques around relationship building, communication building, how to deal with conflict, what family domestic violence is, how to manage it, and also potentially even get them supports, link them into services if that is available. A few of the activities that I had in mind were like charades or like puzzles to help like build communication, and help them learn about like I statements and how to like address their emotions without accusing people. And that's what will be in some of our activities, is like teaching them and engaging them in techniques, things that they can bring home to their families. What else? By doing all these activities, I'm really hoping that it will build interpersonal skills with each of the participants. And I'm hoping at the end of it will actually reduce, like after, I want to do this program for a bit of like probably a few months, up to a year. And I'm hoping that will reduce reports of domestic violence in homes. My vision would be, because I'm just going off my agenda, my vision would be to create a separate community around violence, and for people to talk about it a little bit more. I think it's not something that people want to talk about. It's probably something more people talk about now than what it used to be, but I think it's still something that people get nervous about, and especially when it comes to like relationships and young people that have had to leave home because they're now living with a partner that is abusive. They don't want to talk about it. And I've come from domestic violence myself, and I know friends that have left home because of violence, get into a relationship, there's more violence, they don't want to talk about it. It's a uncomfortable topic, and it's like you want to go to your friends and be like, oh, look at the things I'm doing now. They don't want to sit there and tell them like, oh, my new relationship is beating me up, essentially. What else have I noticed? I think I'll just quickly go through my why and my what that I've written down on my other thing page. So the what, like I said before, is a project raising support for around domestic violence called We Can Hear You. And I would do this once a week. I think once a week at a community centre, probably between either 5 to 7 or 6 to 8, just depending on that's something I've got to like think about of what time I would rather do it, because obviously people have work, people need to go to this community centre and get there, and traffic and everything. So I'm trying to determine what time that will be. Who this is for? This is for 15, like from the age of 15 and up. So 15 to 24, that's for the young people I'm trying to get to. That's my aim. But it's also like available for families as well. So families are welcome to come to this program. Why I'm doing this is because I've lived with family domestic violence, and that actually led me to couch surfing. That actually led me to the abuse of drugs and alcohol, and that led me to doing youth crime. And I think there's been a rise in youth crime because a part of that is domestic violence. Kids don't want to be at home because there's something going on. So what do? They engage in risk-taking behaviors. Where I would do this is at a community center. I would hold, like I said this before, I would do it weekly. And I would promote this and like let the community know about this program by doing go-to cards. And the go-to cards would be little cards, either in cafes or little places, and it will have hotlines and the community service program. So I have little hotlines that people can call if they're not comfortable coming to the service. And then at the bottom of it will be the community service program that I want to do. And this will also be put into like public spaces like shops, cafes. And I also got another idea recently where I can even put it at the back of bathroom stalls. So people could quickly just like sit there and I would look at it and I think, oh, that's interesting. And it kind of catches people's eye, I think. I'm looking to done that, the how. I think that's pretty much it, I think, hopefully. Any questions for anyone?
Lots of questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said that this is gonna be the age between 15 to 24.
Yes.
For the 15 years old, are you going to provide any parental consent or because of their age?
Yes. So parent consent. So majority of people that are in that age group, in that young age group, probably would come with their families. And that's why I offered it for families as well, because they probably will be coming with their mum, their dad, or they will either saying that they'll probably get dropped off by a carer or somebody that looks after them. So if it was someone like that's in like that doesn't have a carer or that doesn't have a support system at home like that could take them or be there with them, it would probably be under a type of thing where it's like they have a support worker outside of this, like someone that's with like child protection or something, and they would write a note or they would write something where they'd be like, okay, this person is like allowed, or this person's going to be coming to your service, every certain amount of time. So that's, yeah.
Right.
So
any other questions? Yeah.
what did you do to start thinking about if this is a gap in your community? What sort of brought it up for you? Because it seems to me like you have a lot of knowledge and really great ideas. And I was just wondering, how did you think that this was needing to come to the service and be your project?
I think when I was doing research about it, I think I didn't see like when you search up like because I'm from Victoria, like I would search up programs in Victoria about thing. There was not many. They would always come up with hotlines and places that you can call and stuff, all that stuff that you can do. But there was never like, a group where someone was holding that somebody can go to. And I think that's what kind of motivated me to want to set up a group, because a lot of times like a lot of people are scared to actually call a hotline. That's why there's probably that there is that still no one talks about it, because there's mainly just hotlines and people only really know about hotlines. Where I thought, whereas like if there was a service or a place like a community center, even if you don't go to the groups, like a community center is more open, like, and encouraging people with these issues to come and talk to them to get support. I thought I just was really motivated to do something like that, because like I think that would encourage people to talk about it. Or
even though we're a very digital world now, and things like you say, hotlines and social media and that, I'm hearing such a strong connection, that human connection, a meeting place and a meeting of minds. Really love where you're headed with that, Georgia. So, which is the opposite to how things seem to be moving. And just hearing you come back to that original core human connection. that nothing else can replace, like hotlines, distance, staying at arm's length,
Absolutely.
isolated, forgetting to make those human connections, which for me is a real passion because it's around how we triage people, that helpless, hopeless, and alone. And so this is about removing that alone. That there are others around, even just sitting quietly and watching it all happen around you. We don't have to be fully engaged. We can connect by being part of something. And I felt that you had plenty of room for people to do that. I really love. Yeah.
Well, that was one of my things, was developing a stronger community. And I think a place where, because like you said, everything's online. So if there was a space where people can actually like come and even make friends potentially, I think would be good as well.
Yeah. And for young people, when we do talk about it, it's who am I and where do I fit in? I think you could find a tribe in there.
Yeah.
Small tribe, but tribes inside interests and things like that. It needs that facilitation to bring people together and then let them find their way inside, whatever that evolves to organically. I like that you exactly know what it's like, because I think there's room for you to allow others to help drive what it could become.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm very passionate about this. And when I was like kind of writing it and like thinking about it, I was very interested. And I was very interested to see, like, when I was doing a little bit of research for part C, I was just really interested to see like the rates and like the reports and everything. I was very intrigued in this topic. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to it all coming together and us hearing about the finished one. So thank you,
Yes.
Georgia.
Can I just ask a question?
Of course, yes.
So what is the size of the group that you might be expecting with that range or age range, which is quite large, from 15 to 24? What kind of size of the group would you be expecting?
Oh, that's a good question. So,
and how many facilitators, say if you got to a certain amount?
So I was thinking probably roughly between like 15 to like 20 people per group. And I would have like the mentor, which is like the group coordinator, the one that like deals with everything, the one that programs like and facilitates the group. And then I would also have like 2 youth workers as well. And the workers are kind of there to like support people one-on-one, sit there and talk to people if they need it, and also provide like outlets where they can go to, like referrals, and refer them to places. But yeah.
If it say got bigger than 20, how would you manage that?
Then like I'd probably get more support workers. If it got to the point where it was growing and it was getting bigger and bigger and it was getting more promoted, I probably would get to the stage where, like, let's just say got to the point where there was like 40 or 50 people coming. I'd probably hold 2 groups. And then I'd get to the point where I'd probably get more support workers, but I don't want to get any more than probably like 30 plus a group, because then it gets overcrowded and people can feel less inclined to want to open up. So potentially less the better, but more the better, if that makes sense. Because if there was getting to the point where there was a lot of people coming, that's when I'll get to the point where I was like, okay, now we need to facilitate more groups.
Yeah. And do you have a rough estimate of how much that will cost for like one session with a group of 20, say?
So at the moment, it is a free service for people to come to, especially with a lot of financial problems at the moment. I wanted to make it a free service because people that are struggling with this can't afford, essentially. They can't afford day-to-day living now, let alone, having to pay for something. But that's when we will get grants and sponsors, and I will outlet other sources to fund the people that are there.
Okay, cool. Yep. Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
I really loved your presentation too, by the way. I can tell you're passionate.
Oh, thank you. I was a bit nervous, but thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad to be going after you. So, but that was that was a lot of help, and yeah, really good presentation. I loved it.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well done, Georgia. So if you email me, I will send you your evidence for part 1. And you can wait and send them all up at the same time if you would like to.
Okay.
But my evidence will be written, so you don't need a recording. That's how this part goes. But
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
So,
okay, perfect.
But this recording will go out to you guys, and I'll just do a bit of a lead up. It'll come out as part 2 skills, and I'll do just a brief summary around part 1 and how we're doing our presentations and break that down. But I want to open it up now for Mel, and then I have one more learner coming in after Mel. So Mel, are you ready? Who would like to be Mel's supervisor?
I don't know about ready, but we'll get it done.
Am I still going to do mine tonight?
Oh, sorry, Tessa. Yeah, Tessa, you're doing part 1. We'll
Yeah. We'll go up.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I just thought you
Am I
forgot.
making you more nervous leaving it, or
Yes, but that's okay.
Okay,
It's all good.
I can be the supervisor, Vicky.
Okay, wonderful. So Zainab, thank you. You be supervisor for Mel, and Tessa, you're straight after Mel, and I will let Ruby know to come in about 8:15. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, wonderful.
Can you see that? Because I can't see it on mine.
Yeah, we can. That looks great.
Thank you. So I am doing my CHCCDE019, working within the community framework. I have chosen domestic and family violence. So domestic and family violence is more than physical abuse. It is behaviours that are used to control and create fear for another person within family or in intimate relationships. Did you know in 2022 and 2023, over 180,000 Australian children, so that's 32% of 1,000, came into contact with child protection system? And emotional abuse, including exposure to family violence, was the most common type of abuse identified for these children. According to the Australian Institute on Health and Welfare, globally, it is estimated that up to 1 billion children aged between 2 and 17 have experienced physical, sexual, and emotional violence or neglect in the past year. 5 of my goals and priorities to my community group: helping kids gain a feeling of empowerment, control, and hope; having a space where they can openly share their emotions and experiences; to provide a child safe and fun environment where they can escape for a few hours a week; promote a healthy and safe relationship and build gender equitable values for young children and youth; and to provide a safe program for mixed males and females. So my program name is You Matter, and I have a little logo thing that says You Are Worth It. Location and activities. So open hall with a full access to a kitchen, a bathroom on Sundays from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. Activities will be cooking, drawing, painting, a reading corner, a gaming corner, a distraction section, so like foam ball throwing, and a movie section. Describe how the program assists in enhancing the skills of participants, encouraging the youth to go out and seek help and support they need. That'd be for like the older kids. To build a program and network that is based on the worldwide issue. To provide information and education that some of the youths lack due to domestic and family violence. Providing a fun and safe environment for the youths to have a chance in making a change within the community. The mission, the vision, and the goals I want to achieve within its program. The mission, to drive awareness of domestic and family violence within the society by generating life-changing practical support for the children affected. My vision, to improve growing percentages of the children struggling with self-doubt, depression, fear, and loneliness from domestic and family violence. The goals I'd like to achieve for this program: to show young children and teens that there is help out there, to show they are worthy and loved. For the children and teens to understand violence is not okay, and to reach out to someone for advice. To acknowledge domestic violence services and to be a voice for the victims. Social, economic, and environmental benefits of my chosen project. My social benefits: to strengthen the community and bring people together for the cause. Environmental benefits: to provide an opportunity to educate the public frequency and impact on domestic violence. Economic benefits: to reduce the chances of more children suffering, to increase more youth workers to be out in the field, and to provide a safe and stable environment for children and youth and young teens to reach out. So this is my little budget thing I've done. I have only calculated for about 10 use per session. So renting a hall per day would be $250. 5 sessions is $1,250. Staff salary: all staff must have a current working with children's check and police check and a first aid officer with first aid certificate. The 2 youth workers will be $270 each a day, and the first aid officer will be $160 a day. Food and drink supplies: food and drinks provided to the youth is $150 per session. Daily supplies needed for activities is $200 a session. And for the 5th session activity, I was thinking of taking the kids out into jumps for 5 hours, so $220 for 10 kids for 5 hours. And to get there, we could rent a minibus with a standard license is $500 for the day. Community consultant scope: key stakeholders, survivors who have experienced and have been affected by domestic and family violence. Community organisations that provide information on my program and advertise the services. Local government: their support could help with the funding and a chance to help the program bigger. Businesses and sponsors, potential funding sources. Volunteers and social workers, essential for the operational support and program achievements. Advertisements: scope: who works with the children, doctors who have the youth as a client and is aware of the situation and is able to talk to a member of the family, or CAMS who is working with the youth and is aware of the situation. Why I'd like to see my program be a success. My reason is because this subject is important to myself and other members of the community. We have witnessed the hurt it has done to family members, including children from the ages of 3 to 16. I'd like to see my program put in place where the young children from the ages of 7 and 16 can go and just be kids for a few hours once a week, where they can talk to other kids, teens, that have been in the same situation or where they can go and just be in a safe, fun environment. So my references was my calculator, jumps, the advice.com.au, and I contacted the Bendigo Council, City of Bendigo. And there are some contacts here where you can ask for some help. So you've got 1-800-RESPECT. They have a mobile number and a website. You have Safe Step, Kids Helpline, Men's Helpline, and Lifeline. Together we can make a change. Thank you for attending my meeting.
Excellent. Terrific. Any questions from the supervisor?
I don't have any question because she did very comprehensive explanation with her project, including all the calculation and everything is very comprehensive. What I commended her, I want to commend her with her why she did it and why she want this project to be successful, because of the children and then how important it is for the children at that age to be cared for mentally, their well-being. And so I commend Mel for having that compassion and striving to make sure this project is a success. So I think I don't have any question. I'm just really glad and very proud of her, of having so much compassion in herself. And I can hear in her voice how this is so important. This project is very important to her.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, Mel, that, you know, I commend you on your courage, man. You're like, now I'm nervous again because you're very softly. No, don't be. It's amazing to see, like, you're very softly spoken, and you take your time with what you're saying, and you can still hear the passion in your voice. I'm just a very loud person, and I think yeah, I think you did amazing. Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Awesome. That was awesome. I did have just one question. So when it came to the like the excursion or the group trip, say in the minibus, would you have people, or I won't say clients, but people bringing their mentors or their own support worker with them on those types of trips? And
yeah, so if they need a support worker, they are welcome. That's not calculated into the thing I did. Yeah. And there would obviously be maybe 1 or 2 more workers with us due to being a big area and out of the hall. So more eyes, the better on the children. But yeah.
Okay, awesome. You did awesome, I thought.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Excellent. That's great. So Mel, if you could email me, I'll be able to give you the evidence document back, and there's a spot in there for some self-reflection. But I do have to ask Zainab, does Mel get $5,000 for her project?
Yes, I will gladly give her $5,000.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So can I get maybe another couple of people just for Tessa, and then after Tessa is done, we'll give feedback, and then anyone who needs to go can go. We're going to have a break, and I've got another learner coming in just after 8, but I've got a gap there for questions and answers before we head off as well. So could I get another couple of people maybe for Tessa, just to be stakeholders?
Yeah, I can stay.
Thank you, Mel.
That's all right.
All right. Well, 2 stakeholders is still good, Tessa.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you. Thanks for being here today. As you know, I'm here to present my community focus group project. The target group that I chose is for single mums between the ages of 15 and 20, like really young mums. I'm aimed at those who are at risk of becoming homeless, and they're either in a domestically violent relationship themselves, or they might be just living in the home surrounded by it, and at the risk of becoming homeless. So that's the target group I chose. The reason I chose them, like my why for this group, is because I myself was a teen mum at the age of 16. I have 4 children now, they're all adults. But that's not to say, I lived in that environment, but I had a lot of support, and there were things that it wasn't the right support. I never had the knowledge to know that I was in a coercive relationship. And at that age, I've recognized that there was no help for me that I needed, not in the one spot. So I was having to go everywhere. And I've worked with a lot of teen mums today, just with my teenage children, and they've had a lot of friends that have been in this situation. So I've sort of, became like a halfway house for these young mums. And I've recognized that a lot of them have had nowhere to go to talk about those issues that are behind closed doors that Georgia mentioned earlier. And, they need a place to go and feel safe and be able to talk about what's going on either in their relationships or at home, and how do they get out of that. And at the same time, they're also usually at that age, they're first-time mums. They're, becoming anxious and, stressed, depressed, going through all those symptoms, I suppose you could call them, and not having anywhere to go. So that's the focus group that I'm aimed at. Their reasons for coming in, obviously they're in that type of situation or environment. They're single and unsupported, maybe emotionally, and a lot of the times it's financially. Either their families aren't supportive, or if they're in that environment, there's really sort of nowhere to turn to. It could be a lack of location, like that maybe they're living in a rural area, there's no transportation, especially when they're young mums. And also there could be substance abuse, which they might not know how to get out of the habits, or, take themselves away from. It's for people who have, got stress and anxiety, for those young mums to be able to learn how to manage that and even recognize that that's what they're experiencing. I know a lot of the girls I've dealt with didn't even know that they were stressed or depressed or even tired, because they were just going through the motions of taking care of their child and trying to ignore sort of the environment that they're dealing with. The lack of accommodation that's out there today I think, makes it really hard for younger girls to think that they can take themselves out of the situation, especially between those ages. I've recognized that there's a lack of, education. Some of them haven't even finished or graduated school. Some might have, obviously unintentionally fell pregnant and are still in school and don't have anywhere to turn to. It can be hard to go to social workers or counselors in the school when you've got all the peers, seeing that, oh, she's going to the community room again, or what have you. I know there were a couple of girls that thankfully my daughters, brought home, because they didn't feel comfortable to go to the school and they didn't have other services. And at home, the support and the family support wasn't there. So what I'd like to sort of propose is that I'd put an outreach out to the community, maybe an open family fun day event where we can promote all the services that we would offer at a community hall. I've actually found a community hall that already has a mental health plan initiating as we speak. They have there's the PCYCs that we could have come out and, you know, offer their services and show what they have and that they can provide. I'd like to provide possibly a couple of laptops or iPads so that girls could come in and possibly pick up their studies and, you know, finish their graduation, or maybe they need to get on and learn how to apply for jobs or apply for work, and also access all of the social services and supports that we would have there. I have a lot of brochures and information from online services, particular one called SK Kids, which also deals with single fathers of this age group, and actually up to 24. And it can provide services like transport and medical services, food. There's also homeless shelters and like crisis centres that all come out of just this one community support group. Sorry. What I wanted to sort of achieve in this group was to bring those young mums together, and even with their children, be able to bring their child along and just sit and have a cup of tea, you know, relax, be able to talk about the hard issues at home, and also talk about, you know, within that group, almost like an AA group. I'm not sure if I should refer to it as that, but in that space where maybe 1 hour of that 3-hour session, 1 hour, the group sits together and they actually talk out the really hard issues. Or we could have, I've thought about a topic for the night of that week. So then, you know, maybe next week, the topic might be coercion and how that can affect your child in a domestic and family violence situation. A lot of young mums don't realise that their behaviour is actually, you know, affecting their children. If they're standing having, you know, an argument or something, and the child is there taking it all in at 3 years old or what have you, and obviously not targeting their children, but if the teen mum knows how that's affecting her child and how she can better it for herself, you know, I'm really hoping to be able to create a space where these young teen mums can form their own little community and have, you know, engage with each other, create a social connection with each other, and that be on the same space, but also have support workers there so that we could help them individualize a plan for themselves. There might be a girl come in and, you know, 20, say, a single mum who does not know how she's going to get out of her situation. So helping, and that might be different to another mum that's there at 18 who has a good relationship, what have you, but has no financial support, doesn't know how to, you know, so everybody's situations will be different in that group. But the one common thing that they will have is that they're young teen mums at the risk of becoming homeless due to the family violence, either in the home or in their relationship. And it's mostly about the children as well that's raising, you know, being raised up with them in that situation. As a teen mum myself, and I was around a lot of domestic family violence, and I had family everywhere. There might be 2 houses on the street that I don't know, but I still couldn't go and stay over there because it was happening there as well, and there as well, and there as well. And it was different types of situations, you know. So I know that there's a lot of girls out there that don't feel they have really any support. And so that's what I'm hoping to create with my group. I have done some research, and I've found a community hall that offers, it's $150 for a 3-hour session. But in that space, they also have, right opposite the community hall that we could rent, they have kitchen amenities. They have spaces where we can set up laptops. They have a lounge area also. And right opposite that, they have another room where they have dance classes for young children. And so there's also, it actually sits all the parents right outside the classroom, and you're just watching the kids. There's also a walking, like a walk track through there. And they have, they also have a youth service that runs out of that community centre. And they offer all kinds of services and supports for accommodation, budgeting and financial planning, crisis intervention, career planning, childcare. They actually have a service there also where you could, and it's $5 for a family session, where it's just like a play group. So you could come, and I envisioned, you know, the young mums coming to our community group, maybe having a cup of tea with their child, and then their children can go with a childminder. I think that might be the only type of, you know, financial contribution my stakeholders' money would go towards, is making sure that these babies can be minded while the mums are in our community group, having that 1 hour one-on-one, you know, not one-on-one, sorry, but group session without the child in that space. So they could be at the either at the dance group or doing the walk track with the childminder while the young mum is getting what she needs out of the group session. And they don't have to interact with the 1 hour, you know, with the group talk. They can carry on the laptops and get support services there, or just talk to somebody, or just have a cup of tea. Maybe they just need a nap, whatever it is they need. But I just know that there's a place, you know, they need a place to go and share their stripes. Yeah. And hopefully at the end of it, I'm hoping that, you know, they can build a community group. Maybe they become a regular group, and so they have peers, also a buddy system. There's so many things that I'd love to do off of this group, to introduce the buddy system. Like maybe I'd go out there and market or promote to mums who have been a young teen mum and how they got themselves out of there, and maybe they could sit and share a short story. Wow, that was hard. Sit and share a short story of how you know, how they got themselves to where they are today. Yeah, so I think I've covered it all. The size of the group would be maybe 10 to 20, and depending on how regular that gets or how much connected they are together, I'd like it to become sustainable, where they could grow the group, and maybe we could branch out, and who knows, those young mums could become role models in 2 years' time for the next ones coming up. So yeah, I think that's everything. Oh, sorry. So for the application or sign on for these young mums to get into the group, I would promote it and at like the high school. So I have actually been in touch with 2 high schools and their counsellors to see if they have girls that they feel might be in this range, in this group range. I think that's correct. And I've heard back from one who's said to me he actually has one girl who he's really worried about. And I only, with this school, the counselor that I got in touch with, he actually went to school with my daughter there. So that was sort of how I thought, oh, you know, there's a connection, I can utilize that. So you know, actually potentially I have one participant already, and she is in this group, in the range of this group. I don't know how to say that, but she definitely is a good candidate for this group, because she doesn't have parents at home and she's staying with her partner, who's verbally violent, so coercive towards her, which is causing her financial instability because he's taking her funds, and it's actually leaving her without being able to take care of the baby. They have just recently had a baby and she's still trying to be at school. Yeah, and she doesn't have a support worker, but she has a friend's mum who's trying to help her, sort of thing. But that friend is actually no longer in the picture. So she's, you know, a little bit uncomfortable and not knowing where to turn to. So he actually said to me, that would be awesome if you could take her on. And then I did explain again that this is my case study and it's for my course, but I guarantee I will get her on board if you know, who knows, or if I find something else like this out there, which I actually looked for. And there's not a lot where, just like George's group, and she wanted people to have that in-person, you know, connection. I've been looking for those types of groups and there's actually not a lot around. Not that offer all these types of services in the one place and access to, like if I did have iPads or laptops for these young mums to use, they could get on and without distraction, you know, maybe get some schoolwork done or look for work, accommodation, get the help and services that they desperately need. Yeah, and education about just the environment they're in and how it's affecting their child as well as them, and how they can manage and cope with that. Yeah. So that's my, I think that's it for me.
So because this is our part one,
Yeah.
I love where you're headed with it. I definitely know that that would be embraced. I think it's kind of nice that they're being acknowledged as mums as well, regardless of age, because I think they bring a different lens over the parenting and connection. And I've been involved in a few of these, and I like where you're headed with this. So I think there's a lot of respect and acknowledging that they are mums. They happen to be young mums, but they're mums in that space, and really seeing them. I loved where you're headed with this, Tessa. I could see such a strong pathway forward for them to know that this doesn't have to be a barrier for them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they can find where they're accepted and not judged by others, and someone's going to identify their strengths. I love that as well. So being a young mum yourself, that's a very unique lens over this as well, a lot of consideration. So could we have maybe some stakeholders have some ideas?
I do have, oh, sorry.
No, you
say
go.
something, Mel?
No, you go.
I do have one question, and I feedback as well. I loved how you said that you're going to engage, you're going to educate. I think that's a very big thing. So I think people will come there and they'll learn and they'll understand like how that is impacting not just their own lives, but like their lives of their family as well in the younger generation. Which I really like that. But I also wanted to ask, how are you going to promote your program? Like, how are people going to find out about it? Like, what are you going to do to people for them to know that this is going on?
So I thought about, obviously, you know, with this being the first stakeholders meeting, I wanted to have like a community outreach program where I would promote it in the high schools, in the PCYCs and community halls, even at the plazas on the notice boards, give it to work people, to friends that I know, get them to hang it on their notice boards. Word of mouth actually travels faster than anything else. So
100%, I agree.
Yeah, and even getting out there myself, handing out flyers. I'd love to get a group of support workers, and we go out into the community and hand out flyers. Just promoting a day, and then on that day, at the outreach program, all the people who I will incorporate into the community project, I would like to have there, and I will be, proposing to them to come there and promote their support and services that they will be, that we will be having in our community group. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I really like that. I really like your idea, and I really like the idea of like the word of mouth type thing, because I think definitely like word of mouth definitely goes a lot faster than anything. Yeah, so I like it. That was good.
Awesome, thank you. And even at that community outreach, actually, I thought about possibly, putting on a little sausage sizzle, doing like a mini fundraiser to start, like to have a little petty cash community sort of thing for the start of the community group. So anyone who wants to sign up,
I think that would be a good way to like raise awareness. Yeah, 100%. That's cool. I like that idea. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. I loved your idea too, and after hearing your presentation, I thought, oh my gosh, I love that you're so loud and outspoken as well. And
oh my god, really? I love that.
Yeah, no, but I love that. I love that.
Oh my god, thank you so much. No, I love you for you as well. Like you explained very much detail, a lot of detail, which I'm very interested to see like what else you will do this, because it was really good. I liked it.
Thank you. Ooh, so nervous.
How are you feeling?
Very nervous, but actually very confident about that this program is definitely something that I can do. And thank you all for your input, because that's really hard to boost that confidence, my first public talk out of the way.
So Mel, do you have any input there in saying it for Tessa for in this developmental stages?
I think she's done extremely well. You covered so much and it sounded so good. You could hear in your voice that you actually understand it all and how difficult it can be. I do have one question. Would this just be for the mums who are struggling, so the mums with their kids that are struggling, or could the dads so if it was the other way around where it was the female who was abusive, could the male come and
absolutely
or anything?
Yes. Well, one of the online resource groups that I've researched, they actually cater to single fathers alone. But I also have another men's group that come down, and they actually they work out of a church, so they're a Christian-based group, but of course they cater to everyone. And they have a men's group and a boys group. So their boys group actually goes from the age of 15 to 18, because at 18 they become an adult. And then at that age, they move on with the men's group. So I've definitely talked with them about utilizing their services and bringing them across if we ever got a male wanted to walk in the door. Absolutely, and their families too. So if say a teen mum, because we know how men can be shy or feel ashamed to talk about these kinds of problems because they're supposed to be the macho one, they can definitely come with their partners. And then if they feel more comfortable, I could get them in touch with one of these men's groups, and they could actually go off on their own with the men's group or the boys group, and the mum stays with the child, where we would help to mind the child so she can get the help she needs while he's off doing that sort of thing. After the 3-hour session, they come back together, they make them have a cup of tea before they go home or whatever.
That sounds good. Well done.
So I've really thought about all the other, you know, alternatives that could come into it. It could be sisters fighting.
Yeah.
And, you know, they really just need to get out of the family home type of thing. There's, so many different demographics that can come off, but definitely focusing on the young mums at the risk of being homeless or, you know, becoming financially unstable because of everything else going on. And not recognizing it. I've definitely seen that a lot of the teen mums, they don't even know that they're experiencing domestic violence, which doesn't have to, as we all know, you know, it doesn't have to be physical. I didn't know at 33 years old that, you know, my ex sort of controlling our finances. I had no idea there was anything as such as financial abuse. You know what I mean? It covers so many different things that if I didn't know it at 30 years old, so that's why my my heart and my passion is on that. And I'm hoping that the group, they can really connect and evolve together and help each other along the way and make some great friends and connections, some lifetime friends, I guess.
That sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions?
I think that's a very, very powerful program. Thank you for sharing that.
Awesome.
Lillian has a question. I also have a question here from Vicky, who's saying, one question, you mentioned young
That's what I was going to point out, that somebody typed in chat.
Lovely, thanks, Lillian. Just rural locations not having support networks. How would young mums in those rural areas access your program?
If they're unable to come in, one of the services that I've researched, they actually help with transportation and also accommodation. So they have a service where they can send what's it? I don't forgot the name of the train ticket service. Go cards? Is it go cards? Met cards for the trains?
I have heard of Go Card in Queensland.
So it's just a card where it's loaded with credit and they just tap on and tap off wherever it is that they're going. Also, if it was feasible, depending on the situation at home, if they wanted somebody to go out, I would also accommodate that and like to, you know, cater to those ones who don't have anybody. But sometimes I think in those rural areas, the youngsters might feel either ashamed or scared for not so much their families, but for what might happen after you leave. So I somewhere near where they live, I would definitely, you know, want to support going out there to visit them. And if it's a weekly, or if it becomes a weekly thing for them, then yeah, absolutely. Like I said, with the individualized plan, if that's what they need, you know, and they can't get help or access to it, they might not have the financials to do that. So I would, they would definitely become a high priority, I suppose.
I have something to add about that. I think the funding that we're going to provide, I think because of the location, I think we have to look at the funding for them, because since they're rural and difficulties that they have, because sometimes because I'm living in rural myself, I know that it's really difficult if you have no support, no transportation, and especially young mothers that were scared with domestic violence in their hands, that kind of thing. I think that's where you need to allocate your funding.
Absolutely. I've definitely thought about that, and about also catering to ones in those financial hardships that might need nappies and things like that. That's why the community hall that I've found is located in central in North Brisbane, and it actually has a lot of amenities around it as well. And I I chose that place because it was very cheap for the rent and all the amenities and all the other services that are actually right there and are very, very cheap. So even with the stakeholder money, I think that we could afford that and also have that rural, support. Yeah. And along the way also with these, say, sessions as they build, I'd sort of want to also incorporate into the group itself a way for them to sustain themselves. So giving them something to look forward to, like they also come together and create their own mini project where they can do little fundraisers. It might be something like we take all the kids down the park one of the session evenings, and at that we do a mini bake sale or something like that, and those monies can also go back into the community group.
Yeah, that's when the part of educate them. That's part that you said, to educate them where they can sustain themselves.
That's
where
right.
that means the money that from the stakeholder can be stretched a little bit more.
That's right.
And who knows, from that you can have a permanent place for them where everybody can be in that place and they can sustain themselves by by looking after those places themselves.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned before, with maybe getting young mums who have been in the same situation and sharing their short stories, hopefully it can keep sustaining itself and grow bigger and bigger. And hopefully, because of there's girls everywhere and with the location, this group could be the start of, say, a support franchise, so to speak. I don't know, maybe we could do another one in a whole nother area, if the needs is there for it, which I'm pretty sure it is. It's everywhere.
Well done. I think I will give you, as a stakeholder, I think I will fund your program.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
That's excellent.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, great. Well, let's take a break. I've got a learner coming in 4 minutes. If you have completed and you're happy with your work, which I am very happy with everyone that came through tonight, please just take the night off. I have just one final learner and they're doing part 1 and part 2, but if anyone would like to stay back and play those roles with Ruby, then please be comfortable to do that. So I've just sent her the link to class. Otherwise, we'll be back in 3 minutes. She's going to jump in. I'm just going to go and get some water because I know my throat is just about to shut down. So we'll pause. Just in expanding of our practitioner skills, which is our part 2 for tonight, I just wanted to go through this here, our instructions and our overview around that. And there's 2 parts to the assessment in this. So just bringing that there for you. The first part is the community discussion. That's in the preparation and planning of this particular unit. And tonight what we had was a lot of people jumping in and doing either part B, which is part 1, the collaborative process, still getting ready to fine tune that, find out who will be involved, how we will collaborate with other stakeholders in that space. And then also some of the things that we assess you on as well. So just let me pop them out there. So some of the assessment pieces, this is how we mark you. This assessor observation checklist, and it's pretty much the same for all of our role plays. So there's 13 points that everybody has to reach when they're doing their planning, their collaborative one with the stakeholders. So during the role play, I observe the learner assist in managing and facilitating discussions and engagement. So when everyone jumped in class and did the feedback and answer questions, that was meeting that criterion there. The next one is assist public groups in identifying and documenting the shared community priorities. That will be part of your plan. That's what you will do in writing, and I can't mark your role play till I've seen the documents that come up. During the role play, I observed the learner develop strategies in collaboration with the members of the community and ensure that their priorities are met. So it was great. We had some really intentional questions offered. How would you approach that with people in rural, regional? What about other services that might be accessing as well? So I thought that was amazing. And just rolling through the rest of those all the way through. So there's 9. And then if there were any concerns raised beyond the scope of the model that you want to do, how would you do that in line with your policies and procedures? So some of the first part, of course, has supporting documents, you going into policies, procedures, making sure you're meeting all of the requirements, the privacy, confidentiality sits there, the non-discrimination, the workplace health and safety, some of the basics, the consent, if you're working with minors, their legal parent or guardian, those types of things, and you'll need to explore that. And then in the second part, where some of our learners went tonight, I just want to come down there, sorry, was doing the presentation to the community. So here is part C, or we called it part 2, just for the sake of that. So I just want to go there. And it says, during the role play, I observed the learner manage and facilitate the discussions and the engagement process. And that was going to be with a supervisor. And if they felt that it was confident and it was viable, if they had any other kind of clarifying questions, then they wanted to give them some money. But you'll have developed a budget. You'll have a look at some things. Some of you have gone deeper into it and found out where the grants are around that. And everybody that presented tonight, wherever they were up to, had really done a lot of research, and either it was filling gaps, addressing the emerging trends, things that we notice that there may be an unmet need. And I felt they were all really valid, and selecting, of course, from the topic. So, providing information to individuals to ensure they're fully informed about issues and opportunities. And there's lots of different ways. Some people use resources, PowerPoint slides. Some people just took it straight to the community and the presentation, and of course tonight our learners who stayed in that space and supported their peers. That also being recorded is a very collaborative assessment and micro skill that I look for as well. So if you couldn't jump in and ask questions in person, there was some really great chat and some positive reinforcement in our chat space as well. So I've measured all of that. Thank you for that as well. And then we just go through, like, you may need to advocate and lobby for community-based outcomes, where you explore that, what you weren't able to do for those who did their role play tonight in real time, because in reality you would have more time. So I would just like to see you put a lot of that into your written work. Just use our template we guide you through on that. It has all those considerations. So when we advocate and lobby, we want to be able to go and get some funding or donations. So I just kind of chatted tonight a bit about how I do my best beg, and I go and ask for it. If we haven't got the funds, then I sort of think, oh, could I do it if money was no object? So a lot of community orgs, especially small orgs when they're starting up, sometimes we might have our idea, it's amazing, but it's like, if we don't want the lack of funds to be the barrier, so we have a look at it. Well, could I break it down into 5 steps? And one step could even be each year. So in the first one, could I just raise awareness? Could I start an Instagram page and see what the demand is like and get that public interest there as well, just to get some feedback? So don't be limited by money, but for the purpose of the assessment, just make sure that you meet all the criteria there. So I'm hoping that that's a nice summary for you and an overview. When you are ready, you can do this with a peer from class and a few peers. Just know that when you are doing this at home without others, I absolutely need you to make sure that if it says 3 people, you must have 3 people there, and those 3 people need to be coached by you. I can accept that if you can't get someone here from class. Just make sure that you have done that work. They have to come in with meaningful questions that are relevant, and you've heard some tonight. You're going to get this in your recording. Just make sure that it is stakeholder relevant. So you might have a local government authority where council are going, well, what are you going to do about parking, or what are you going to do about other things that maybe you haven't thought of? Your stakeholders have to pose things. They're either supportive, or they might go, look, I love the idea, but I've got no time. Just keep me in the loop with the emails. That is valid. So go through your role play instructions and make sure you're filling all those gaps. It is not up to the people that play the role of stakeholders or even the supervisor to find out what it is that you need from them. I can only get all of those things when I'm assessing, or the others are assessing you, because only the ones in class will be getting that evidence sheet. But of course, do this in your own time. And if you're stuck and you need some help, then I'm hoping the recording goes out for you and you get some good ideas. So thanks, everybody. That'll be the end of our session for this one, and this will be coming out to everyone who's enrolled in Cert 4 in Youth Work to help you with your CHCCDE019. Thanks.